a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but that beauty, a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but that beauty, a rich man's world, a rich man's world, beautiful land, but a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but that beauty, a rich man's world, a rich man's world, beautiful land, but
it was clear to me that there was a problem that needed further investigation in order to hold people accountable.
Atlanta has been on the fast track to becoming one of the most influential cities in America. While Atlanta has attracted people of all races, cultures, and ethnicities, Black and white people make up approximately 80% of the city's residents. However, the residencies of Black people have often risen to just over 50% of the city's population. Like in many metropolitan cities, Atlanta schools had a mixed bag of results when it came to education. Demographics and socioeconomics played critical roles in the quality of education a child received, with low-income children being the most disadvantaged. Lawmakers were eager to address the disparities in education, highlighted by stark differences in standardized test scores when comparing schools' demographics. By the time No Child Left Behind was drafted into law in 2001, the debate over standardized tests had reached a national level. Teachers were primarily blamed for failing student scores, and calls for accountability had reached fever pitch. Teachers in Atlanta were feeling the sting of the sudden anti-teacher rhetoric that was emerging. State and district policymakers began drafting new evaluation systems that would place the responsibility of student achievement directly on teachers. Teacher accountability systems were created as the primary strategy for narrowing the achievement gap. Teachers who saw significant growth in their student scores on end-of-grade exams would receive financial compensation, also known as merit pay. But there were additional provisions to the new accountability system. Alternatively, teachers who did not see significant growth could face disciplinary action, including a poor performance review, being placed on a professional development plan, or contract termination. Atlanta, where schools were among the lowest performing in the country, emerged as one of the districts with the most significant growth in student achievement. Within a short period of time, the school district had made tremendous gains, which was cause for celebration. In addition to the district's superintendent receiving national recognition, teachers in Atlanta were awarded generous bonuses for their hard work and effort. But not everyone was happy about this new turn of events. Concerns were being raised about not only how fast student scores were being turned around, but also the significant growth being reported. In some schools, students were skyrocketing with achievement gains of 30 or more points, which statistically seemed unlikely. Each year, as student growth continued to trend upward, evidence of wrongdoing was undeniable. What became obvious was that the achievement gains that students had demonstrated on their end-of-the-year exams did not carry over to the next grade. Students who had previously scored at grade level, or above, in reading, were struggling to read basic texts the following school year. Teachers began to notice that quite a few of the students who came to them with scores of proficiency had functional skills ranging between kindergarten and first grade. Soon questions about test scores became unavoidable. Newspapers in Atlanta began investigating the plausibility of such astronomical gains in such a short period of time. At the same time, some teachers were also expressing their concerns, reporting to school-level administrators their belief that it was unethical practices behind the surge in students' end-of-grade test scores. It was impossible that the students who made such phenomenal gains were the same students in their classrooms. However, cheating allegations were generally dismissed by administrators. Teachers who reported their concerns were often threatened with bad performance reviews, job termination, or were isolated by their colleagues. The news media coverage of the scandal caught the attention of journalists across the country. Soon, there was a frenzy as reporters descended upon Atlanta to cover what was quickly becoming a full-blown circus. Some of the willing participants shared their experiences when they raised concerns to school and district administrators. The story had more plots and twists than a Hollywood movie. As more information emerged, it was evident that the problem was not a small stain that could be easily washed away. It was clear that the looming crisis would not go away quietly. In fact, the Atlanta Constitution-Journal exposed a system of blatant cheating on student tests in a plot that went directly to the top, with current and former principals and teachers accusing Superintendent Beverly Hall of being an active accomplice.
A scathing 800-page report revealed that in the vast majority of Atlanta public
There's no harder lesson than the one taught today to
thousands of dollars in fines, while some criticize its severity.
Right now, 7 former Atlanta public school employees are still fighting to clear their name.
Make that kind of progress under those circumstances, but yet the test results said that it was being made. It wasn't. It was a lie.
Travesty that could ever happen, where teachers, administrators, and even superintendents of schools, and including board members, have all been a part of a cover-up.
There were 35 Atlanta Public Schools teachers and school staff indicted in the cheating scandal. Although the investigation started in 2009, evidence of cheating dated as far back as 2001. Most of the accused surrender to police, including former school superintendent Beverly Hall, who was charged with racketeering, false statements and writings, theft by taking and false swearing. The trial was a sensationalized media circus. The phenomenon of a scandal of this magnitude was too incredible to resist. At times, antics in the courtroom resembled something straight out of a Perry Mason episode. Questions began to arise, slowly at first, then more abundantly. How was it that only African American school personnel were being prosecuted? What was the likelihood that only people of color were involved in the cheating cover-up?